This is a demo of the Radius 81110 clone, Mac clone. Essentially it's 8100 Power Mac 8100 made by Radius. Now Radius was up to that point, up to 1995, a supplier of high-end graphics card for Macs. And they were the first to actually get a license from Apple to create their boxes. If you look inside it, it's essentially an 8100 motherboard. It's got a lot of the Apple ASICs on it that are marked Apple Computer Inc. But this is just a quick demo. It's running OS 9 right now. It has, and it comes with the connector to get it onto the Ethernet. It's got the funny connection at the back, and you need a separate box to get it to an RJ45. That comes with it. It has internally two separate SCSI channels, and right now there's also a SCSI device, this Jazz drive, which is connected to the 25-pin connector at the back, which all Macs had since the very beginning, up until the iMac basically took it away and replaced it with FireWire. So when I turn this guy on, this guy will mount. CD-ROM, I believe it's a 12x CD-ROM, and it's got a floppy drive. What's important about the floppy drive is you can access the internet, or in this particular case, there's the floppy, there's the CD-ROM, just happens to be the install CD-ROM. And here I have disks that are on the network. So in this particular case, I'm talking to another PC that's running Tiger. That PC is connected to the internet. It can run a more modern browser. It can run Safari up to a certain point. But in any case, it can go to Macintosh Garden, or go to a lot of these sites that have the vintage software. It can grab it, puts it into a folder. I can simply get it from here. That way I don't have to burn disks. Because sometimes when you burn the disks, these old CD-ROMs, they don't exactly read them correctly. So that's a little bit of a caveat. But when you go really back in time to the compact Macs, you really have to put them onto floppy disk. You know, the operating systems weren't that big. I think System 6 was 4 disks. And then the worst version of System 7, as far as disks are concerned, was 15 or 16 disks, and I think that was 7.5 something, 7.53 maybe. Doing it this way, with this type of box, with these type of IOs, allows you to get all of the applications you need, and either put them onto something like a zip drive, which then you can transfer to another machine, or even to the portable Macs, compact Macs, or floppy. You know, basically this is a higher capacity floppy. So in some cases with your vintage Macs, you may only be limited to the floppy. The issue there is that you may not want to open it up, take out the drive, reformat the drive, which you could do in a system like this. This has enough I/O channels where you can just plug in a drive. And what I have here is OS 9, but this system is excellent, because if we go here to startup disk, this thing will also boot in System 7, which a lot of these systems can't. Now this is an NU bus system, so to get an NU bus system, or NU bus as some people call it, to run version 9, operating OS 9, again, it's something special. So if we wanted to start here at System 7, we'll just do a restart, and we should boot into System 7. It'll try to connect to my network drives. It's programmed to remove the floppy and the CD-ROM. Comes with the Radius. This came with the Radius keyboard, the logo, and the power button, which is convenient because you don't have to reach around to the back and turn it on. You simply turn it on and off from here. You can actually hit this again. A little dialog box will come up and ask you if you really want to shut down, just in case you hit it by accident. And in that particular case, you can shut it down. So here we're booting into OS 7, I should say System 7. They didn't actually officially call it OS until version 8. This system doesn't have any drives. I've connected a 4 gig and a 40 meg. So the System 7 is booting off a 40 meg Quantum floppy disk, or sorry, Quantum hard disk. And I've got an application in there called Network Time, which I got off the internet, and it needs to have a link to a server, which I didn't put in. That's what that error was about. So here we've got the Jazz mounted. We'll mount the floppy drive just to make sure that that's okay, and the CD-ROM. Floppy drive comes up, and CD-ROM comes up. We'll take a look at about this Macintosh, System 7.55. System software itself is about 7.2 meg. That's typically, if you want to run, this is the latest System 7 software you can run. So if your Mac does not have at least 10 megabytes of memory, which doesn't sound like a lot these days, but it was quite a bit back then. A lot of them only came with 4 megabytes or 2 megabytes. You can't run System 7.55. You could run System 7.1. I think somewhere around 7.2 they started to introduce the PowerPC code, which tended to bloat it up as far as hard disk is concerned. It wouldn't actually load it into memory. System 6 will run a lot quicker on the older Macs. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and did you want to shut down? We will shut down. On the Radius 81110. Again, it's a 110 megahertz PowerPC NU bus system from 1995 in perfect working condition. Just something I wanted to mention is all of the monitor outputs from this era, basically 1987 onwards, when the Macintosh 2 came out, have this DB15, which would connect to a Macintosh monitor. What I have is just a regular VGA, and you need one of these little converters. This one's by Griffith. It's a Mac PNP, and basically it has some switches on it, and on the back you have resolutions and you have the switch settings. So that will get the conversion done. On these Macs I mentioned, it has that funny AUII connector or whatever it's called. You need a box like this to basically take your RGA 45, plug it in there. This end has some sort of DB type connector which plugs in there, and that's how you get your Ethernet connection. A lot of people will put in a card if it's a PCI slot. In this particular case, it's NU bus, so it's very they're very difficult to come by, an NU bus Ethernet card. So anyways, that saves some money, saves some looking around, because you can get right onto the network or the internet if you've got another PC that you want to hook to, do some file sharing or share some peripherals. And that's the 25, or yeah, I think it's 25 pin SCSI connector for the other channel. Printer, modem, desktop bus, and microphone in, speaker out connections. And that's the back view of the Radius machine.